Lockdown Reviews AnyTone AT-D868UV dual band handheld DMR radio by Paul, Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres, and PMR 446.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Paul, Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres, and PMR 446. So it's going to go back to another amateur radio today. So we're going to go one that I don't cover much on the channel. It's this one here, which is the AnyTone D868UV. It's a DMR radio, and it's a dual band DMR radio. So comes with the usual, an antenna, which in this case would be on an SMA female, SMA male on the radio. It comes with an antenna. Got power on and volume on the top, a rotary encoder, light that lights up, green if it's receiving FM, believe it's like a teal or a turquoise when it's lighting up on a DMR transmission. And if you transmit, I believe it's red. I think it's red in both modes, can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've actually used this. So obviously with being a DMR radio you need to use a code plug to program it. It comes with a belt clip as well, which is screwed into the battery, which I don't particularly like that very much. It's a decent battery. It's a 7.4 volt 3100 milliamp hour battery. So it looks quite sizable. And the radio itself, given the model of AT-D868UV, it tells you it's 136.174, 400 to 480 megahertz. So for the people who want to use it on PMR 446, I don't recommend it, or the APRS in America, again, don't really recommend it. It will cover those frequencies and possibly some of the Australian UHF-CB frequencies, but again I wouldn't recommend using it on that. It's got this little orange seal around the battery contacts. It's not a waterproof radio by any means. And on the side I've got standard Kenwood speaker mic port, though you can't just use the standard programming cable that comes with Baofeng radios to program this, because it's got the necessary serial controller built into the radio. So all you need is the cable that actually comes with it. It does come with a USB cable, which is just a USB plug at one end and Kenwood connectors at the other. So it'll take standard Kenwood accessories or Baofeng accessories, whichever. And it's got two programmable buttons on the side, as well as the PTT, two programmable buttons here, and this red one on the top can be programmed as well, though because DMR is a commercial thing, those are usually programmed as like an emergency help call button sort of thing. So I'm not going to go too much in depth with this radio because there's a lot in it. Just when it starts up, there we go. So I've got that top button on there set for power, set to change the power between low, medium, high and turbo. I'll put what those are into the description below. I think turbo might be about 6 watts off the top of my head, but it might be a bit more than that. But what I'll do is I'll put the power levels that are available into the description below. So just trying to remember. There we go. So I programmed that button there on the side here to switch it to VFO mode. So that's VFO mode at the moment. That should be on the frequency of my hotspot actually, which isn't, as far as I'm aware, connected to anything on DMR at the minute. Although what I can do, go back into there. So I've got programmable button P2 set to switch between either A or B if I have both of them displayed, or or bring up A or B. So it'll tell you on the screen whether it's analog or digital, the channel number if it's programmed up. I'm guessing R means repeater, not sure. Yeah, and on digital it'll tell you its time slot and that it's in digital mode. It's got GPS built into it, though I'm not 100% sure what purpose that serves, because it doesn't have APRS. That would be the AT-D868, which is essentially, as far as I can tell, just the same as this, except with slightly different firmware in it. So, you've got your menus, which goes through your talk groups. So, there's a whole list of talk groups in there, not going through all of them, because it's quite a long list. You can add new contacts, or manual dial. That manual dial could be quite useful if you're on a hotspot. It does SMS type messages. Has a call log of anything that's been received by the radio or transmitted by the radio. Zone, so that's a list of zones programmed into the radio. Scan, on, off, and scan list. So basically everything in the radio is set up for a scan list on this. So you've got settings in the for the radio. You've got a beep, which is on, backlight, light time, which I'm guessing the time it takes the light to turn off. Channel name, so it'll either give you channel or frequency in that option. Key lock, although I think you can probably activate it another way. Time to turn the power off. Well, I don't have that. Transmit timer, that'd probably be a timeout timer. Max volume level, that's set to level 7. Earpiece max volume, it's set to indoor. That might need adjusting. Mic feature, not sure what that is. Ah, I see. Normal or enhance, I'm not sure what that's for. Language, self-explanatory. Menu exit time, it's set to 20 seconds. So if you go into the menu, leave it for 20 seconds, it'll come back out again. Intro display, that's just a picture at the moment, which is just the AnyTone logo. Main channel, the channel A or B. Sub channel, off or on. I've got it turned off at the minute. Message note. That'll probably be message notifications. It sees either off or ring. Call ring, off or ring. Frequency step. Now, you can either do 5K, 6.25K, 10K, 12.5K, 20K, quite large steps, 25K, 30K, 50K. So you can change the frequency steps there. Analog squelch level, obviously. Need to, but chant time not supported yet, because I'm in digital mode, that's not going to work. Power save, it's in ratios, so power saving off, or save 1 to 1 or 2 to 1. I'm guessing that's tone burst. Yeah, 1750 Hz tone burst, so you can change that. But I don't need the tone burst because none of the local repeaters around here support it. Vox on or off, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Vox delay gives you a delay of, at the moment set to 1.5 seconds, but I have the Vox turned off. So that's to do with the scanning. Scan tone, I'm guessing scan colour code or something. I'm not sure what the scan settings actually do on this because I've never needed them. Mic level, that can be adjusted. Say if you put a microphone, external microphone on, it's too quiet, just turn that up. DTMF speed, I'm guessing that's the speed at which DTMF is sent. FM radio, now you can have that off or on. I'm not turning that on because I'm not even sure what it's set to. FM radio monitor, off or on. In. Man down alert. Now what that does is, in business settings, if you're working the radio and you don't call in after a certain amount of time, it'll send an alert out to everybody else. In amateur radio we don't really need that, as far as I can tell. Startup password. I have it turned off on this radio, although I've got it on my FT2D. I don't have it on this. So this is repeater offsets, I'm guessing. and then the programmable keys. So PF1, which would be the side key, as shown here. PF3 is that red one on the top, which I've got set TX power, as I mentioned, so you can change it. P1 and P2 are the ones on the front, so P1 is set to scan. P2 is set to main choose. If you press and hold these keys, they do other things. So I got VFO MR again on PF2s and the TX power on long press as well. So nuisance delete is what's P1 long hold. I haven't needed to see a reason to change that. And P2 press and hold is main choose again. SMS format, not sure where that comes in. Time zone, that's currently saying GMT +1 because we're in British summer time at the moment. I think that's why it's done that. Date and time, so you can set the time and you can do a GPS check as well. So I believe that just gets the time from the GPS satellites. In here it probably isn't going to work. And then back to the top of the menu again. So channel settings, so you can create a new channel. So you just put a name and a channel in there. You can delete a channel, it'll ask for confirmation, we're not going to do that. Channel type, analog or digital, or analog and digital. Transmit analog or transmit digital. Transmit power, low, medium, high and turbo. It's currently set to low because my hotspot's in the same building, so there's no point having that on high. Bandwidth, that's on narrow bandwidths. Receive frequency, that's going to be the same as the transmit frequency. Talk around, that's on at the moment. I have no idea why it's on that, but name would be the name of the so in this case I would just call it Pi-Star BM because that's set up for the Brandmeister side, although I can do Phoenix and Brandmeister on that hotspot. Transmit allow always. Transmit prohibit off or on. So obviously on frequencies you're not allowed on, you'd have to obviously turn the transmit prohibit on. You can do that in the software as well. I'm not going over that. Radio ID, that's your call sign in the radio ID. In this case it's my call sign. Color code. And I've got that set to colour code 1. Time slots, time slot 2 for my hotspot, but there's time slot 1 as well. There's always 2 time slots. Digital encryption off, very important, keep that off. It's not allowed to use encryption in amateur radio, it's more for business purposes. Encryption type, normal or enhanced. Again, we don't need to worry about that too much. So receive group list, I've got that set to Brandmeister for this. Work alone, so if you can set that if you're working alone. So I think that's probably where the man down thing comes into play. But again, that's for the business side of things because DMR is a business system. DMR can do simplex repeater or double slot there. It's set to repeater for that for some reason, I don't quite know why. And then you've got the device info, which would have your ID, your DMR ID, which would begin 234 or 235 in the UK, and then your call sign. So you can record from DMR on this radio. It does have GPS, I've got that turned on. That should give. Oh, it has actually given me a fix. I'm not going to show you that because it'll give my exact location away. Digital monitor. That would be just monitors everything on the DMR, and that's back to the top of the main menu. So I'm not going to go too much into depth in that. So that's basically gone through all the menus. To change frequency within the zone, you turn the rotary encoder on the top. To change zone, it's zone up and down on the front of the radio here. So at the moment it's in my DMR hotspot. I can actually switch it to monitor things like air traffic control, marine band channels, PMR 446, and then obviously go into the simplex channels. And we're going to be using the simplex channels, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it onto 425, what I normally use. There we go, which is V34 according to this radio. That's just how it was programmed. The code plug I've used, but I've obviously modified it a little bit so I can use it with my jumbo spot, was one that was available from Moonraker. I didn't buy this from Moonraker, I got this at the Bowburn Rally off, I think it was Murfield Electronics, full top of my head. So I was after a DMR for a while, and this was the cheapest one on the market at the time. And I have actually taken it out to test it on top of the hill, but it doesn't seem to hit any DMR repeaters very well from around here, because there's none around here, and for complicated reasons we haven't got one. So probably won't be much likelihood of that happening until after this lockdown anyway. So I'm going to be doing the tests in analog FM. I won't be doing any DMR tests, because when I've tried to decode DMR on the tablet, it's never decoded properly. I've tried to decode it using other machines as well, it's still never decoded properly. I've never quite understood what's going on. I think I might have some slightly questionable settings, so I'd have to look into that. So it's going to be an analog FM test, like every other radio I've been doing. Same position as usual, same setup as usual. So that's what I'm going to do. What else was I going to say now? So these radios, as I say, would need a code plug before you can use them, and you obviously need to register yourself a DMR ID. I'm not going into details on how you go about doing that. That information is out there already. The reason why I'm not going to go into it is because it's quite a long subject, and it would make this video a bit longer than I really would like, and it's just a review of how the radio is. It's a good radio, but the proof will be in the pudding on what the audio sounds like. And I've heard people say that the audio from speaker mics is actually a wee bit on the quiet side out of these. So I'm going to test it with a speaker mic as well. So I'm going to go set up the usual setup in the car with the SDR on the tablet and on the 2-meter antenna, and I shall report back once I've got to the car. So I'll see you shortly. Oh, back in the car again. It's got these bits of paper just to move. Get rid of that as well, so that shouldn't be in here. 145.425 strings we're going to use as normal. So it's the same setup as normal. I've discovered there's a little bit of a issue with the SDR. It seems to be that there's a bit of noise if it's locked up to center tuning. So with its free tuning, that seems to get rid of it. Not sure what's causing that, but RTL SDRs aren't the best in the world, but it's still a good SDR. So it's probably something local to the SDR. For another day, that one. So what I'm going to do is I've decided that I'm going to pit the AnyTone against the Yaesu, because the Yaesu is actually a good radio and quite a lot more expensive. So I want to see how it's going to fare, because I've had good reports off that AnyTone, but it's worth seeing what's what with it. So I'm going to test the AnyTone with the speaker mic as well, so I've got that with me. So I shall begin recording that. I don't have long, because I've just been alerted to the fact the battery's starting to run low. So I'm going to crack on with that. It's the battery on the tablet, by the way. So I'll see you shortly. Okay guys, I'm where the phone box was, as normal. So I'm going to start with the AnyTone, so wake it up. I've checked the frequencies clear, I've not heard anything. So we'll start with the AnyTone on its internal microphone. Mike 0, Whiskey November, uniform, testing the AnyTone 868 on internal microphone. And again.
Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing AnyTone 868 on internal microphone. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn it off and plug the microphone in and see what it sounds like on the speaker mic. Right, so what I've done is I've clipped the radio to my jeans, and this is the speaker mic, so I'm going to test the AnyTone on that one. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the AnyTone 868 on the speaker mic. Just once more to make sure. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the AnyTone 868 on a speaker mic. Okay, so now for the comparison against something a bit more expensive. Okay, so you might recognise this radio. This is the Yaesu FT2D. And what I'm going to do is, once this car goes past anyway, I'll just put the radio in front of the camera so that they can't filming them. There we go. So, same frequency, it's the FT2D. It's a bit more expensive, in fact a lot more expensive. So let's crack on with that. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the Yaesu FT2D against the AnyTone 868. And again, Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the Yaesu FT2D against the AnyTone 868. Right, so that's done. I think I best get out of here. See you later.
Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the AnyTone 868 on internal microphone. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing AnyTone 868 on internal microphone. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the AnyTone 868 on the speaker mic. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the AnyTone 868 on a speaker mic. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the Yaesu FT2D against the AnyTone 868. Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform testing the Yaesu FT2D against the AnyTone 868.
Right, so I'm back. I had to get back quite quickly because a car pulled in right behind me, because it was the car that went past me by the looks of it. And then I saw them turn around at the bottom of the street and come back towards me, so I was a little bit suspicious. And obviously with the whole lockdown going on, I didn't want to be near the person that was in the car, so I thought maybe best to get out of there pretty quickly. So, what can I say really with regards to the audio? I plugged in my speaker mic, and the difference between the audio in the radio and the audio in the speaker mic on FM seems to be perfectly fine. I can't do a DMR test because I don't have a means to decode DMR on the tablet, because it just doesn't seem to work properly. The only way I'd be able to run a test like that would be with a jumbo spot or another DMR radio, which I don't have another DMR radio, but I do have the jumbo spot, but that wouldn't give me an accurate result, so I'm not going to try that. Or at least I don't think it would. Although the Yaesu FT2D seems to be louder on FM, unless it's over deviating, which it could be, but that's easy to fix. I mean, I can just have a look into that later if that is the case. But it's the AnyTone D868UV. It's an alright radio. It's good. It does the job. If you're wanting a DMR handheld that can do VHF and UHF, it's ideal. It's useful if you want to get onto 2 meters on the repeaters or simplex. So get some thumbs up from me. I like it. I'm not sure whether the 868 is still available, because there's the 878, which is otherwise essentially the same radio, except I think that has APRS built into it. The 868 doesn't have that, from what I can tell. It does have that GPS feature, which I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of it's for. So I'll have to look that up. Again, I don't know the power levels of the radio off the top of my head, so I'm going to pop them in the description below. So, I've got the video editor on, because my last video I had to re-render just to be on the safe side, because it didn't seem to work when I put it up onto YouTube. There was a bit of blank space beforehand, but I've managed to get rid of that actually without having to re-upload it to YouTube, which is a bit fortunate on my part. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the things with this video, make sure that doesn't happen again, which it doesn't look as though it should. So I'm going to go off and edit this one, and while that one's rendering, I'm going to film the next lockdown review. And that next lockdown review will be the Intec H520 Plus, because I've got all the tests and everything ready for that, so that might as well be the next one up. So I shall see you in that video, or if there's anything else in between. I've got another radio actually on order, on its way as we speak. I'm not going to tell you too much about that radio. That will be revealed when it actually gets here. So I'm going to wish you all 7-3 now. Stay safe, guys. You obviously know the drill by now. Because we're in the middle of this lockdown because of the coronavirus. Keep yourselves safe and just keep playing on the radio. There's a hashtag for Get On The Air To Care. If you look on the Radio Society of Great Britain's website for that one, Get On The Air To Care it's called. And I think at one point, I'm not sure if Ofcom is still allowing it, you can actually add stroke NHS to the end of your call sign. I'm not sure if Ofcom is still allowing that at the time of filming, but I know that's been something that's been happening lately around about the time of filming. Okay, so and it's the 1st of May 2020 today. So obviously at the time of filming we're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. Hence the name Lockdown Reviews. So I will catch you in the next video. What that will be, hopefully it'll hopefully be the next lockdown review, or it might be something else, I don't know yet, but I will be filming that next lockdown review on the back of this one. So once I've got the footage off the camera for this lockdown review, I can then start filming that. So 7-3s for now, guys, and stay safe.
Don't forget, you can subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to be notified of new videos as I upload them. 73 from Paul, Mike 0 Whiskey November Uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 on 11 meters and PMR 446.